40 dead and 20 wounded at major mosque shooting. That's right, we're talking about it. I heard it for some time, and now it's my turn to weigh in. The gunman shot dead 40 people and wounded 20 more in a politically motivated attack. The mosque was set up in New Zealand, so you can pretty much figure how the left will frame this. AOC's already tried to blame the NRA, somehow. The current Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, described the attack as terrorism. 3 men and one woman holding extremist views are now in police custody in relation to this crime, but had not been on any police watch lists. Political and religious leaders from the Middle East have condemned the attack, saying, "We believe that 40 people have lost their lives in this act of extreme violence. It is clear that this can now only be described as a terrorist attack." The video footage apparently shows a very random and emotive assault, showing that the shooter was indeed very irrational. The fact that he allegedly uploaded it himself shows a clear lack of remorse, possibly even a self-righteous sort of attitude, like someone who just sees all Muslims as a threat or as a danger of some sort and decides to just... Unfortunately, while the mainstream media is going to have its narrative and try to make it seem like it's real, unfortunately, this is hard to question. This, unfortunately, fits their narrative very well and most likely is true. Either that or it's controlled opposition, and someone set it up. Which is probably not very likely. I don't see that being a thing, but it's also possible. One man who said he was at the Al-Nur Mosque told media the gunman was white, blonde, and wearing a helmet and a bulletproof vest. The man burst into the mosque as worshippers were kneeling for prayers. "He had a big gun. He came and started shooting everyone in the mosque, everywhere," said the man. Ahmad al-Mahmoud. He said he and others escaped by breaking through a glass door. The shooter had guns and improvised explosives in the back of his van. This was absolutely premeditated and sick. After the attack, the gunman drove off at high speed and was arrested on the side of the road after a short chase. And like I said, the left-wing, culturally biased media will, of course, use this towards the goal of their narrative. And yes, unfortunately, this one is probably true. But much like the Nick Sandman case and so many others, a lot of what they say is false and can be proven to be so. But it's not necessarily a deliberate deception. A lot of the time it's purely confirmation bias. You find something that happens to confirm what you believe, that appears to confirm what you believe, and therefore you never dig any deeper. You never question it any further because you found what you were looking for. So a lot of the time that's just what it is. The mainstream media is pro-democrat, pro-liberal, and it's once they find a story that seems to confirm their beliefs, they're going to emphasize that above all others, or they're going to make one that's fake. Sometimes it really will be on purpose. I mean, 70% of journalists are democratic activists at this point, so... Not to make this about America, but that's the situation here. And unfortunately, for those of you in New Zealand, our American mainstream media is going to use this crime in your country to paint pro-Western civilization type people in a very negative light. And I'm sure your mainstream media may decide to do something similar. It needed to be said. It needed to be talked about. Needless to say, this is an absolutely terrible crime. And quite frankly, if he really did in fact kill 40 people, like in most countries that'd be like automatic death sentence. And I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be. Anyway,